Hello, and welcome to our very first edition of the Soulshine Spotlight. I'm super excited to have with us today Soulshine Rhythm Experience community member Linda. Say hi, Linda. This is our first edition, and our goal for today is really to connect with some of the members of the Soulshine Rhythm drumming community. And our community was really built on a foundation of connection, of community certainly, and a shared love of rhythm. And we are made up of people from all different backgrounds, all different experience levels, all different generations. And in my opinion, the community drum circle that we host every month, which has helped build this community, what makes it special and unique really is the people. And so I really wanted to go ahead and have some conversations with some of these amazing members of our community. And Linda is gracious enough to be our very first. So welcome, Linda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Susie. It's so good to see you.
Yay!
Yay.
And I love the beautiful setting where you are with nature, just ensconced in the wilderness.
Oh, yes, I just had to find a park to sit in for this because, as you know, you and I usually meet in parks
Yep.
to enjoy our rhythm.
It really is. I mean, there's so many great places to drum, certainly, but there's nothing like drumming outside among the trees. It's my favorite.
Yes, mine too.
So, Linda, as we talked about, really, we just want to have a conversation. We just want to talk about drumming and your experience with the Soulshine community. And so, we might as well get started. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So I did make a couple of notes because I am having short-term memory these days.
Me
So
too.
I'm going to refer to these notes from time to time.
No problem.
So first off, how long have you been drumming?
Well, that's a good question. So I am not a very musical person. I always say I don't really have any rhythm, and I know you disagree, Susie. You always say everybody's got rhythm, but really, I'm not very musical. But I discovered the drum circles when I went to a festival in Austin, maybe down at Auditorium Shore, so many years ago.
Yeah.
And I was entranced by, I was like, oh, what is that? So I was already an adult, but a young adult. So probably 20 or more years ago
Oh,
was when
wow.
I first saw a drum circle.
Hmm.
And I just fell in love. And so then every chance I got where I saw a festival coming, I'd go see if there was a drum circle. I never played. I just sit there and kind of, do that.
Yeah.
But it's just that rhythm, that beat, it just draws you in. And when I was going through a divorce, I was like, okay, I need something to help me with with this trauma of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did try to take some drumming classes, like some formal drumming classes,
Yeah.
but it was just too. I think I was just too shy at that point,
Yeah.
not drumming. So so that didn't work out so well for me, but eventually I kind of ran into, I don't remember how I heard about your drum circle, but going to your drum circle, I was so comfortable, I just stuck with it. So once I found that comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
your drum circle, and yep,
And here we
that
are.
was it.
So you
Here we are.
literally felt the call of the drum or heard the call of the drum
Yes,
in the space that
literally.
you were in. I love that.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of drum are you playing now?
I have a couple of djembes. And I have a little one,
Mm-hmm.
which is my favorite because I feel so comfy with him.
Yeah.
Been with him for quite a while. And then the bigger one, I just haven't gotten the hang of that one, but I still got him. So the little one is the one I usually play. So a couple of
Yeah, and
jam
that's the
days.
little guy where you got the genius idea to prop it up on the yoga blocks. Was that you?
Oh yeah,
That?
that was
Yeah.
me.
That was such a good solution. And I remember
Yeah.
everybody in drum class was like, "Hey, what? That's
Hey,
a great idea."
yeah, it's lightweight,
Yeah, and then you don't have to, because sometimes with the smaller drums, it can be challenging to hold it in a position and still get your hand position where you want it to be and have that
Yeah,
sound come out. So that was a good solution.
yeah.
So you kind of touched upon this a little bit already, but maybe you can elaborate. Can you talk a little bit about what drumming has taught you about yourself?
So it's taught me. I think the I think the biggest thing it's taught me is that I don't have to communicate with my words. So I tend to be very introverted, and
Hmm.
I tend to call myself shy, but that's kind of a cop out. But I just am not that good with the communication of words.
Hmm.
I stumble, I can't think of the right words,
Yeah.
but but I don't always have to communicate with words.
Hmm.
So drumming for me just puts communication at a completely different level. It's something more innate.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I think mostly what it's taught me is that communication, it's
Yeah.
more than just words. There's a
Yeah.
lot
That's really
more.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard it put that way before, but that makes a lot of sense because it kind of lets you off the hook a little bit, right? And kind of gives you a
Yeah,
little bit of, not off the hook as much as giving yourself permission to pause and find another way to communicate.
yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. Um, so, moving toward what you're talking about with the Soulshine community. So, and I've heard this from a few folks too. So I'm curious to hear your take. But you mentioned you don't remember how you found us, but it was probably through some kind of social media
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
So based on what you talked about already, what, from your point of view, appeals to you about the Soulshine drum community?
That there is no judgment, there is no competition, there is complete acceptance. It's To me, it's like it's not any work at all.
Yeah.
It's you go, you sit down, you play if you want to, you don't play if you want to, you get up, you get a different instrument if you want to, you
Yeah.
dance around the circle if you want to. Um,
Which we
so
love when you dance, you know that.
I love doing the dance thing. So, it reminds me of back when I lived with my first son's daddy, and we were on the reservation. We'd go to powwows, and they'd have the big end of the night dance, and we would dance around the circle. And so it really brings it all the way back to those memories, which are
Yeah.
30 something years ago.
Yeah.
So, but the community of Soulshine has no judgment. And I think that fear of judgment is the thing that holds a lot of us back.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's none. It's acceptance, whatever.
Well, that's music to my ears. I'm so happy to get that feedback from you. And as one of the longest members of our community, or long attending members, so we decided, has it been almost 4 years since you've been coming out? So almost since the very beginning.
I think probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, just a little backstory for anybody who might be listening. The Soulshine Community Drum Circle that happens every month in Cedar Park started in the summer of 2016. So, we are now entering our fifth year, or into our fifth year, I guess, technically. So, we're sure happy that you keep coming back because you add so much joy to the circle, from your positive energy to your smile across the circle. And I love the finding you dancing somewhere, because sometimes you'll be over here, and then I'll be lost drumming, and then I look up and you're over here, and I'm like, oh, it's like the traveling
You
dance
know what?
in the show.
I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but when I dance around the outside of the circle,
Hmm.
every section of the circle sounds a little different, you know, because there's a different drummer, there's a different instrument. And yeah, and so it's cool to go around the outside and just listen to how it's different in each area, you
Yes.
know?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's really
really
cool.
is. It and it does. It sounds very distinct. I love it when folks will record. Unfortunately, I don't record many of our drum circles because I'm busy
You're
facilitating.
drumming.
I'm drumming. And so, that's it's a fair trade-off, right? But sometimes people will film something and then or record it and then I'll see that posted somewhere and I'll listen to that and then somebody who was sitting in a different spot of the circle will have recorded their experience as well and I can listen to even at the same time like the same rhythm, the same song and it sounds completely different. And would you agree also sort of energetically, like you can have a different experience depending on who you're sitting next to and
Yeah,
how that feels in your body and kind of even from an inspiration perspective, you might hear something differently that evokes a different response of what you want to say on your drum.
definitely. And even like across the circle
Hmm.
when you connect with somebody across the circle and or when I, you know how I'm always late to drum circle,
There's
which
no
doesn't
such
matter.
there's no
Drum
such thing
circle,
as
there
being
is no
late to
late,
drum circle,
right?
right? That's the beauty of
Come
it.
and go as you like. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. So when I get there and I hear it, you know, I, I, um, I got to the point where I was like feeling that energy. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't mean to sound too woo woo, you know,
Yeah.
because
If you're going
I
to be
don't do
woo,
woo,
this
but
is the place to do it.
okay, good. This is a safe, I'm say, see, no judgment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started to be where I could feel that energy coming from the drum circle. And it's just beautiful.
Oh,
And
I
I
love
miss it.
that.
You know, I can't
Yeah.
wait till this virus kind of settles itself down,
Yeah. Well, I
whatever.
can,
And we get to get back to it.
and I assure you, the drum circle misses you too. But we are, we're gonna push on through. So, for you, can you think of any opportunities that may have arisen out of your experience connecting with the Soulshine community?
Well, yeah, because I started trying to drag you into the hospital with me because I'm a nurse, and I could see how healing this could be, and that it could bring some real joy and energy and something healing to not just the nursing community, but even patients. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, I was trying to kind of get my administration to help us somehow bring that in for
Mm-hmm.
people,
Sure.
especially patients that were in the hospital for long term.
Yeah.
And for a while, I was really focused on that was my passion. I was going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bring drum circle to all hospitals across the nation.
See?
Well, administration wasn't that helpful, but we did. You and I did that drum circle at the hospital,
We
and the
did.
staff loved it. And that patient that came out and drummed
Oh,
with us,
yeah. That was a
and
powerful day.
at that and my friend who was just like,
Hmm.
oh, I really needed this. It
Yeah.
was a healing. It was so healing. And that man, when I took him, wheeled him back to the hospital
Yeah.
after drum circle, he said that was spiritual. You know, it's it,
Yes.
yeah. So
I remember that day so vividly. I mean, it wasn't terribly long ago, even though it might feel that way. But I remember, and one of the beautiful things about you, Linda, is that you're open to the experience, right? So we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know
yeah,
who might attend, which is, par for the course when you do these free community events. And you did lay the foundation to involve it and circle and do it at the hospital, which was really great. But again, we didn't know who might attend. And so,
right.
and I've said this to you before, I think one of my favorite things about Drum Circle is it's like Christmas. You never know what you're going to get. Like every month it's a different group, it's a different energy. So that particular day, and we started watching the people trickle in, and we had a not a huge group, but a very powerful group and a very
Yeah.
diverse group. We had those little kids. Remember, there was that little toddler. She couldn't have been more than
Yes.
3, and she was just way into it. And
She
then
loved it.
we had your friends who brought me to tears with how she was moved by just
Oh,
feeling the drum.
Yeah.
And when I left there that day, I was just so filled up and so grateful for you to have presented me with the opportunity to do that. Because that's what, feeds me. And we've talked about this before in terms of the mission, where I want to heal the world with my drum. And any chance I can do it, even if it's, one heart at a time.
Yep.
So I'm getting all thinking about it. um, transitioning to your experience with the drum, what do you think it is about drumming that keeps you coming back? Not just to the Soulshine Circle, but to drumming in general. I know sometimes you do it on your own there at your property. What calls you to do it?
The desire for a connection and sending, sometimes I feel like I'm sending a message and sending a prayer. I feel like my drum is going to be sending a prayer to whatever my intention is.
Yeah.
And, you know how I've been freaked out about this virus thing.
Yeah, it's a scary
And
time.
it's pretty much shut me down. I mean, I just shut down all my holistic stuff that I was all into.
Yeah.
I just was like, it shut it down. And I consider myself going underground,
Mm-hmm.
hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been hiding. I'm starting to come out. But I think that you asking me to do this interview, because part of my shutting down was shutting down everything.
Yeah.
So I know we've stayed connected,
Mm-hmm.
but I've still really been
Yeah.
completely shut down.
Yeah.
But you're asking me to do this interview is helping me heal and come out of the hole and start looking and saying, okay, I can come out now.
Yeah.
So
A
it's
little
helping
bit
me
at a
come back.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's an important point when you think about emergence in general, right? It's okay. Not that I have to tell you this, but I have to tell myself this from time to
Yeah.
time. It's okay to go just one toe at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
I have in my life had opportunities where I've just jumped in full throttle, and sometimes it went well and sometimes it didn't. Nothing has
Yeah.
killed me, but still. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes you just want to poke your head out a little bit and see if you're
Yeah.
ready, kind of take the temperature. And I think that I'm really grateful that you took the time to share with me today, but also to hear some points of view from you that I hadn't heard before was really cool, because we've spent quite a bit of time together drumming in the drum class, and I remember when the first time you performed with us with the Soulshine drummers, and how nervous you were, and then you were like just dancing around on the stage. You were the highlight of the show. So we know it's in there. Your light is still bright and still shining, and we
Holy
know that.
cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, if you ever want a virtual drum, you know where to find me.
yes.
Um, so, is there anything that you would like to add about your experience with drumming, your experience with the Soulshine community? I know you've made some friends through that group as well. Have you kept in touch
Yeah.
with any folks from the Soulshine drum
Well,
circle?
what other than staying on the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and and seeing my friends on Facebook, um, not that much. But remember, I'm an introvert. I don't do a whole lot of socializing anyway. So
Yeah.
drum circle is usually my biggest socialization.
Right.
So,
Right.
um,
Me too,
but
actually.
it's just so natural.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the biggest thing is just that not just drumming, but I don't want to sound like a commercial to you, but you were instrumental. I mean, now that I've known you for so many years, I still love watching Drum Circle and watching you just greet newcomers as if they have always been there almost,
Yeah.
like they're your friends, and welcoming them. You embrace everybody, and you're you got that you got that thing. You
Well,
got
thank
that
you.
thing.
Thank you, Linda. Well, and I think that is really what um, the attraction piece there. Like we've established such a wonderful, beautiful group of souls, at our drum
Yeah.
table, and I think that we attract the like. Well, I guess this is a good time to wrap it up. So I am going to, if you want to stick around for a minute after the show, Linda, but I'm going to say
Okay.
goodbye and officially sign off. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our first edition. Stay tuned. This will be coming out weekly through the month of September, and you'll get to meet a different member of the Soulshine community every week on the Soulshine Spotlight. So this is for my countdown.